Marino's taken advantage of an automatic defense. The Jets faked the blitz, then rotated into a zone defense when Marino audibled, but in doing so, they let Stratford open on the sideline. So it was a beautiful job by Marino and an excellent audible. The Jets, I'm sure, are sort of in a stupor right now after what just happened.
At ties Stratford's career high with 8 catches. He comes out. Logan is in, and they split Logan out to the right. First and goal. And Tony Page, who has a touchdown with a catch, plowing up the middle, but not for much. He said he's a 7-year guy that just feels like a rookie. Now with Miami, Tony Page, good-natured, talented radio announcer, had his own show in the Washington, D.C. area for about 3 years. And now it is second and goal at the 2. Same formation, Jensen in the slot. And the give the other way to Logan. Fights off a tackle, fumble, but recovered at the 1-yard line.
A year ago, Dick, we were here to do the Jet-Buffalo game. What a difference in the New York Jets this year. Look at the character this team is starting to develop. With all the bad breaks they've had and the miscues, to hang in there the way they are. A year ago, they were just a waste of time.
Roy Foster has come in and will play a tight end, so they're announcing he is an eligible receiver, number 61.
Well, by all rights, this should be Baxter over the top with just inches to go.
It's Page and Logan. Logan hit and squirms in for a touchdown. Just did get in with a second effort. Mark Logan, another Plan B player acquired a year ago from the Bengals. Tony Page leading the way with a block. They had him stopped there for a moment, but with Page pushing in front of him, Logan able to follow in behind. Just got it in. That same official who called the no fumble and inadvertent whistle has the touchdown call.
Strictly second effort, because he was stopped.
Boy, that is a good effort by Logan. Played at Kentucky. The extra point right there. Miami 17, the Jets 3.
As you see there's 12:47 left in the game, but as things went, it was possession punt, and so we've broken away. I'm going to ask Bobby, 17-3, but Miami really not convincing. Are they contenders?
Well, their defense is still playing very well, but their offense is going to have to play better for them to beat the teams that they have towards the end of the year. They have a tough schedule at the end of the season, and if they don't play any better on offense than they did today, you know, they may slip 3 or 4 at the end of the season.
Today, once again, we see the replay machine, inadvertent whistle. It was a big factor in this game. What do you think of the eye in the sky?
I think it's making officials on the field second-guess themselves and look over their shoulder, because if they make a bad call, they're going to change it, and they're going to be, you know, on national television embarrassed almost. And I think they're hesitant in making a call, and I don't like it, and we need to do something about it pretty soon, because it's screwing up a lot of things in the NFL.
Should it be taken away completely?
I don't think taken away completely, but because sometimes there is a need for it. But I think they ought to let the officials do their job, and then somebody in the booth take control, a little bit better control, because like we've seen today, an inadvertent whistle, what is that? You know, they fumbled. The other team got the ball. They should have been rewarded the ball, and they should have overruled the official on the field in that instance, I thought.
And there's another rule that other quarterbacks I've talked to that has frustrated them, and it's called in the grasp and under control.
That's a crock.
What do you think of it?
I hate it. They say grasp and control, but they call it all the time when somebody's got a hold of you. I think if a football game, you're supposed to be tackled down when you have the ball. Tackle me down. Don't grab me and hold me up and say I'm down, because quarterbacks like myself, you can evade the rush and get away from guys when they have a hold of you and make a big play, and it's just putting us in a bind. People like Marino and some of those guys, I think they like it, because they're not going to run out of the pocket anyway. So I hate it, and I wish they'd get rid of it.
You say they call it all the time. Do you think they do, or do you think for some people they call it and then others they let it go a little longer?
It probably do. It just depends on the the style of the referee or what he thinks or what he's trying to determine. But I know they've called it on me a couple of times, and I've gotten away and made a play, or either at least threw it away and didn't take the sack. And I don't really like it. And I've came out and said I didn't like it before, and they've sort of told me to keep quiet about talking about the referees and the rules.
Yeah, unfortunately, the thing there is that there's a variable in there that week to week it can change with a different referee.
That's right.
Now let's go to Gary Imlach, who has the final scores of those early games.
And the Buffalo Bills piling it up against Phoenix in the second half. First off, Jim Kelly throwing his 4th touchdown pass of the game. 11 yards this one to Don Beebe, who grabs it out of the defender's hand. Then Jamie Mueller on a 1-yard run. Doesn't look as though he breaks the plane. The referees ruled that he did. That was followed up by another touchdown run from Ken Davis, and the Bills win it 45 points to 14. Indianapolis Colts versus the New England Patriots. Jeff George brought the Colts back with a 26-yard pass to Bill Brooks. That's their first win at New England since 1983. Atlanta Falcons at the Chicago Bears. Atlanta came back in the second half, but Chicago held on. 24-17 there, the final. New Orleans ran all over Tampa Bay in the second half down there in New Orleans. 2 touchdowns for Reuben Mays and another for Craig Hayward. Vinny Testaverde came on for Tampa Bay when Chris Chandler was hurt, but he had 1 fumble and threw 1 interception. Detroit also having quarterback troubles. They pulled off Andre Ware in the second half and put on Bob Galliano. He threw this touchdown pass in his first drive to Jeff Campbell, but he also threw an interception, the one that lost them the game. Al Noga picking him off there and running it all the way back for the touchdown. Final score at Detroit, their second straight loss at home, Vikings 17, Detroit Lions 7. Finally, the Kansas City Chiefs going wild at home and getting into double figures, but it wasn't quite enough. With 4 seconds left, Dave Craig of the Seahawks hit Paul Scansis in the end zone. 17-16, Seattle with the upset win. Back to Mick.
Well, Gary said that Atlanta-Chicago game was final. It's not yet final, so my old team still has a chance of pulling it back. But to add to that little story I told you at halftime, Stinson has now got another interception, so he's definitely getting the better of Deion Sanders. Bubby, 45-14, the Buffalo Bills beating Phoenix. Are Phoenix that bad or Buffalo that good?
Phoenix is struggling right now, but I think Buffalo is that good. They're playing at home. Jim Kelly's playing very well. Their defense is tough. It's probably the way it was, going to be when you first looked at it.
Buffalo, Miami, both playing good football. Who would win that game today, do you think?
I think Buffalo would win right now. Buffalo's playing a little bit better, I think, offensively. But it'd be a heck of a game. But right now, I think Buffalo would take Miami.
Well, let's take a look at the tables. The AFC first, and we start in the East. As you see, Miami and Buffalo 8-1. Miami, though, 6-0 in their division. Buffalo 4-1. Anything you see that's going to happen there?
The only thing I see is Miami towards the end of the season. Like I said earlier, they have a tougher schedule. And if they slip up a few times, I think Buffalo can come out on top right there.
And then we see the Central. What's happened there? How come Pittsburgh's under Cincinnati?
I don't know. Somebody said earlier that they have won more division games or something, or conference games. But we play Cincinnati next Sunday night, and then we'll be on top.
Well, they do have a better conference record than you. I think you might win that game because Cincinnati, I think, has won 3 of their last 4, and you guys have won 3 of your last 4. So
yeah,
you should win that game.
we better win it.
Now we go to the West. The Raiders, San Diego, and Denver are all still playing. That's why they're grey. Kansas City and Seattle. That was, as Gary said, a tough one. A lot of scoring, 16-17. Seattle coming through and winning it. What do you think is going to happen in that division, Bobby?
I have no idea. The Raiders are playing pretty good, I guess. I think they're the best team right now there. I thought Kansas City would have a better opportunity, but they blew that one today. They're going to have to play better down the stretch, but that's a toss-up right there in the West. I don't know.
Raiders playing good football, though. Now we go to the NFC, and we start in the East, and the Giants, Washington, Philadelphia, Dallas not playing, and Phoenix having a tough day today. The Central, Chicago, Tampa, Detroit, Minnesota, and Green Bay still to play. Chicago look like they've got that one clinched. What do you think, Bubby?
Chicago's playing very well right now. They're going to be a team to reckon with all the way to the Super Bowl.
What about Minnesota, 3-6? They're 1-4 in their division.
They're the best 3-6 team in the league. They have a lot of talent right there. They have struggled early, but they're playing better the last couple of weeks, and maybe they'll pick it up towards the end of the season.
And then we have the West. San Francisco and the Rams still to play. Atlanta 3-5, New Orleans 4-5. A big win for New Orleans today. What do you think about the Rams?
The Rams are pretty good, I guess. We played them and we were fortunate enough to beat them pretty bad. But I think in the West right there, it's all San Francisco. And, you know, the next couple of years, Atlanta will get better. But I think San Francisco, as you can see, 8-0, they're the strongest in the West.
Well, the Rams are playing the Giants this week. Do you think they've got a chance?
No.
That much, huh?
Giants are tough. Kept talking about defense all day, and Giants have a great defense, and I think the Rams' defense is not that sound right now. We put it on them pretty good, and I think the Giants have just as good as offense, or maybe better right now than we do. So it may be a long day for the Rams.
San Francisco, they're 8-0 this year. They play the Dallas Cowboys later tonight. Are they as good as their record says?
I don't think they're as good maybe as the Giants or some of those teams right now. They're playing very good. But they seem to win the games that they're not supposed to win. A couple of times this year they should have probably been beaten, but at the end of the game Montana brings them back, and they find these intangibles or ways to win, and that's contribute to a good team. They find a way to win, and who knows?
That's right. I think that they're a good team, but not a great team, because a great team just wins.
Yeah.
A good team, they struggle and they find a way to win. Well, let's go to Gary, who has an update on those late kickoffs.
Well, before we get to the late kickoffs, as you rightly pointed out, Mick, Chicago-Atlanta still in progress, but it looks as though Chicago have wrapped it up. They've just scored another touchdown. They're now 30-17 up, having missed the extra point. Right, that out of the way, on to the lates. New York Giants up by a Matt Barr field goal against the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams actually the last team to beat the Giants in the NFC playoff game last year. Green Bay Packers at Los Angeles Raiders. Marcus Allen has gone in on a 5-yard run for the Raiders. Chris Jackie has a field goal for the Pack, 7-3 to the Raiders. Denver Broncos 7-0 up at the San Diego Chargers, but they have actually led every game. The caption's wrong, I must say. 7-0 up. Elway, a 22-yard pass to Vance Johnson, I'm told, but they have led every game they've played in this season and lost 5 of them. A look ahead to tonight's game. The San Francisco 49ers take their 16-game winning streak to the Dallas Cowboys. Wouldn't it be great if the Cowboys could beat them? And Monday night's game, the Skins at the Eagles. They gave us a terrible game a few weeks ago, but this should be an interesting one. A bit of a quarterback question at Washington. They're starting their 3rd man of the season, Jeff Rutledge, the veteran, in for Stan Humphries, who didn't really do a great job against Detroit last week, deputising for the injured Mark Rippon. And the Eagles, as ever, with Randall Cunningham, who is not only doing his job as a quarterback, he's actually the 9th leading rusher in the whole of the league. Only 8 running backs have more yards than Randall.
Thank you, Gary, and you're showing where your allegiances are. Obviously pulling for Dallas in that game. Washington versus the Philadelphia Eagles. You think that's going to be a good game?
I think it's going to be a terrific game. Randall Cunningham's a great quarterback. I think Washington has some exciting players. The key will be Randall Cunningham. If he's on track and he's doing running and scrambling like he usually does, and he's accurate with his passes, they're playing at Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia has a chance to win.
Any predictions for what the Steelers are going to do this year?
We're going to go to the playoffs. Hopefully we can win our division, but I feel sure we'll make the playoffs. If we can win 5 out of our next 7, we should win the division. And I don't know what's going to happen after that, but getting the playoff is our first goal.
I've got to say this before we leave. How did you get the name Bubby?
I have 5 older sisters, and I'm the baby boy, and my real name's Walter, so that didn't set real good with the girls, so they nicknamed me Bubby. That's like for baby brother or something like that. And, but it made me tough growing up with a name like Bubby.
Well, Bubby's tough, Bubby. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you very much, Mick.
And that's it for tonight, except to remind you that you can get all of this week's results by calling the Channel 4 update line. That number, of course, is 0898 442 444. If you have teletext, it's on page 470 of 4Tel. Better still, I'll have all the results and highlights on the Channel 4 Daily at 7:54 or 8:54 tomorrow morning. And of course, next Friday at 5:30, we'll be back with Red 42, which you can also see Saturday lunchtime. And then next Sunday, we'll have our Game of the Week. That's at 8 p.m. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's programme, and I look forward to seeing you next week. So until then, from Gary, Bobby, and myself, good night.